Welcome back to Wives Getting Lives, the podcast where we don't know what the fuck we're doing, but we've got a microphone.
Yes, we fucking do.
Yeah, finally we have our Blue Yeti microphone. It has improved our sound quality tremendously, so hopefully we have no more issues.
Hopefully not. I just have to remember to project.
Yeah, Donna's a mumbler, but she's working on projection, and she's getting a lot better at it.
I think so. We're getting there.
So, how was your week?
Honestly, pretty good. Like, I haven't done... It's been pretty easy lately. I've been getting in a groove.
My week has been okay as well. I've just been having a lot of, I guess, inner turmoil would be the best way to describe it. I've been thinking a lot about the podcast and our journey, how far we've come on it, and thinking about where we want to take this, or if we even want to take it anywhere at this point.
We have been having some questions of what we want to do and how we want to go, what direction, you know.
So for now, we've decided to stick with things and at minimum finish out all of our interviews, because we have had the opportunity to meet some amazing women.
We really have.
And we are so thankful for them taking the time to sit down and talk with us and teach us about their crafts and hobbies. We have many more interesting interviews to come as well. So it's not really from the lack of interesting content. It's just not the type of content that we were hoping to end up with, I think.
It's not exactly, what I think we had thought it was going to be, what we kind of envisioned. It kind of went in a blur, I think. Like, things were going so fast that we
jumped head first into things. And we kind of went with a lot. And
but if we don't, we never do it.
Yeah, so we kind of needed to jump head first into things.
We'll figure it out.
But at the same time, now we are reflecting on our actions and seeing some discrepancies in where we wanted to be versus where we are.
Yeah.
And so we might be changing some things. Well, actually, we're definitely going to be changing a few things. And firstly, we're going to focus more on us and our personal journeys. But we also have bigger goals and ambitions for Wives Getting Lives. And we hope to explore that further in later episodes. Aside from all of that, I have also been on my own little side mission. I have been doing true crime ASMR. It's not a thing yet, but it's kind of like Fetch. I'm going to make it a thing. So that's been one of my focuses, as well as also I've had a lot going on with my home life. My son's been going to speech, so we've been working a lot on his linguistic skills.
How's that going?
It's actually going really well. He's mastered the V sound so
that's
far.
Good.
Yeah, it was coming out as B's, but now he's actually mastered the V sound. And
That's
he
good.
only did 3 sessions.
Oh, good.
And now he had a 97% accuracy in his last test. And he loves huge words.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
I've always loved saying big words. To make me sound smarter than I am.
his speech therapist actually is an amazing woman. She plays games with him and makes it fun and interesting, so that
and he likes her.
He loves
He's
her.
comfortable.
He
That's
was
good.
asking to go home with her and spend the night. I was like, Killian,
That sounds like Killian.
this is inappropriate, son. Like, we can't go home with doctors and therapists and counselors and teachers. You know, we can't. Well, why not? She's got cool games at home. I want to play them. That's all he was worried about.
That's a boy. Yep.
One thing that I think that I have been worried about is, like, the image we're putting out there, and
What about it is worrying you? Like, what do you feel?
really, I have a lot of hypocritical individuals in my life, and a lot of people who like to gossip, you know, and that's one thing that's always kind of affected me and got me down is that everyone's got their input and something to say. And I've gotten to the point where I don't really let it bother me, but at the same time, it's like
it's in the
this
back of your
nagging
mind,
echo
right.
in the back of my mind that I know if I do certain things, say certain things, or act a certain way, that, you know, I'm going to get sideways glances or something. But at the end of the day, first and foremost, I want to be true to myself and who we are.
And I feel like that's a concern we both had, where we just didn't feel like we were being ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
We felt
I don't want it to feel. Yeah, I don't want to feel uptight or constricted or like I've got to maintain.
Very interviewy, but not like flowy. Like
I don't want it to be a business transaction. I want it to be more. Like friends talking. Catching up. Our interview with Lauren was pretty good.
I enjoyed it.
That went really well. As far as the flow of it, but I don't know. Maybe it's our interview skills. Maybe we just need to get more in the hang of things. Right. But
I think a lot of it's nerves, not being used to a camera.
Girl, you can't believe how nerve-wracking it is just to sit in front of a camera and talk to yourself.
And how awkward, It
is awkward. And then, you know there's going to be people on the other end of it watching and judging. Mommy's got a secret. And it kind of helps me to overcome a lot of my anxiety and mental health issues that I have dealt with. I turned to herbal remedies in my youth. Probably sooner than I would.
You're telling me, sorry.
I was initially, whenever I first tried it out, I was about 11. But I didn't really hardcore start experimenting with it until I was 14. And honestly, I wish I would have waited longer. I now understand the science behind it, the brain developmental stages. Yeah. And as a mother, that's not something that I would want for my children.
Right.
But, I was an angsty, rebellious kid, but I was also struggling with a lot of issues, and I was trying to self-medicate.
Yeah.
So
I remember doing a very similar thing.
It led me down a long, sordid path, but at the end of it, it always led back to this magical little herb that really has changed many people's lives, and it's becoming less stigmatized than it has been in previous years with the legalization aspects, coming into play. I feel like hopefully more people accept it. And
I think so. I got my medical card a couple of years ago. Well, there wasn't a card at the time for Louisiana anyway, but I got it because of pain. Because I had chronic pain, and so that's when I was able to get it. But it also was treating all my, which was the main reason I needed it, was my digestive issues. I wasn't able to eat. I wasn't getting any appetite. I was throwing up all the time. And I was just, that's the only thing that I could smoke a little, and then I can eat. And when you have like the little secret code where, if I just take a puff, my stomach doesn't feel as bad, and I can feel okay for a minute, man. Sometimes you do. I do feel like there was a point where I took advantage of it and was smoking too much.
More recreationally.
Yeah.
I also do smoke medicinally. It helps me with my pain as well. I have herniated discs in my neck and back, and it makes a tremendous difference for me. But it also helps with the mental health aspect of things for me. Mostly my anxiety.
Yeah.
The only time I really realize that my depression is impacted by it is whenever I have to do without it, and then it's kind of...
Well, that might mean you might use it as a little bit of too much of a coping mechanism. I've learned I've been doing that a lot with things.
I do use it as a form of coping mechanism, but also I feel like it's kind of helpful in that aspect because it gets me to like stop for a minute and think before I open my mouth and say some of the fucked up things that I want to say to people sometimes.
It doesn't help that much. They better
be thankful that I could just step in the other room and go and smoke, Donna, how have you been dealing with, like, the pressure of doing all of this? And, because it is new to us, and it's not like there's so much external pressure. I feel it's more internal pressure,
think
at
it
least
is. I
for
think it's
me.
Yeah, I agree. I think I put a lot on myself, like a lot more pressure than anyone else is feeling from me. Even with like the husband and the kids. I always feel like I am judging me harder than anyone else.
Oh, same. I've got so many expectations for myself. And, this is actually like breaking one of them because I never thought that I would sit down in front of a camera and smoke.
Oh, me neither.
Just because of, back to the stigma,
Yeah.
And I guarantee all of my friends and family, at least my true friends and family,
Yeah.
who actually know me, know that, I've been a stoner most of my life at this point, half of it. So,
Me too.
it's not like it's a secret. I just felt, I don't know, guilt and shame, and like I would be judged
Yeah.
a certain way as like a parent mostly. That's my biggest concern.
I think that's
is being
most
judged
of us,
as a parent.
Yeah. Because if they judge me as a human, yeah, I suck as a human. I'm not the best. So that's okay. But it does make you want to be a good parent. Like you want to be, I guess I have always wanted to be viewed as a good parent, but unfortunately, I don't know if I'm doing that great in that area. I've definitely seen some mistakes I've been making along the way. But I also see the improvements that I've been making, especially since the older ones moved out. Because then, I guess it really hits you. You have to face the realities of what's going on with yourself and how you are and who you are. And that really made me go looking of, okay, I don't like who I am. What is wrong? What do I not like and how do I change that? Because I've been so depressed. I was so depressed for so long, just in the bed. And I didn't even realize. I was in denial, I guess. Not really realize. I was in denial that I was depressed. To the extent that I was depressed.
Sometimes self-reflection can really unveil some startling things for you. And, it did the same for me because I like to think that I'm an amazing parent. But after a lot of self-reflection, I know that there are things that I could improve on. One thing, I have my mental health issues. I've got my physical ailments. I beat myself up a lot for not being able to be as active as I would like to be,
Yeah.
like chasing my kids around my big yard.
You do have a giant yard.
Yeah,
I love your yard.
They use every bit of it, man. They run all
yeah.
over the place. They're 90-0, and sometimes it's hard to keep up, especially
Right, with the
I am
injuries.
not small either, so I am a shape, but I wouldn't call it in shape. We both have the opportunity to spend like 98.9% of our life with our children.
And that
we
is
don't have to
great.
work outside of the home.
But I think y'all need at least another % where someone else is.
Towards ourselves.
Yeah, you need to bring
It's
them to
so
me for a day.
hard to
I know.
let go, man.
It is.
I have held on so tight to control for my kids' sake because
No, I do too.
nothing against my parents or anyone else, but there's a lot of things that I experienced in my childhood. Some were my fault, some weren't.
Right.
And there's a lot of things that taught me, and first and foremost is that I don't want my children to have to learn about any of that firsthand. So I have held on far too tight, but
And sometimes we do it to their detriment.
a great parent. And yes,
It's always, it's usually good intentions for sure because
Yeah,
you just
absolutely.
want the best for your kids.
we all have our downfalls as parents.
We do. I definitely feel like I put some of my learned behavior from not really my mom, but from my dad and my stepmom. Like the arguing. Except we don't take it to their level. There's no beer bottles being hit on anybody. But I didn't realize that I even learned that behavior until it started happening with me and we would just yell. It's one thing that we have worked hard on, both of us, because we both get to that just immediate react off your emotions. And, you know, that bleeds off onto, they see that, they hear that, they then take that in, and now they don't know the healthy way to argue. You know what I mean?
That is one thing that
that's
I
a big
also
one for me
experienced.
that I couldn't believe.
After working at the prison, I really developed my voice. In some ways, it's good. In other ways, I kind of regret it because I ruined my voice. I used to be able to sing through 5 octaves on a G scale, and now I'm lucky if I could do like 2.
Oh, goodness.
So, I just destroyed my
From all
vocal
the
cords. Yelling.
I imagine y'all have to do a lot of that, huh?
You do. I used my
Especially
voice
as a
lot
female
more than I wish I would have.
correctional
I wish
officer,
I
right?
would have learned to, I don't know, speak more softly so they would have to listen harder or something. So I didn't mess my voice up because it is a bit deeper than it used to be. But
Yeah, but I like it.
You know, I like
it's
it
a
too.
little
It's not that I
sultry.
dislike it, but I did get in the habit of yelling through working at the prison and through yelling constantly. And that was so hard to overcome. It's something that I worked with for years in therapy. And, you know, still to this day, I struggle with it from time to time. I try to be more reflective for the most part when arguing. Unless you get me to a certain point. You know, like
But that's
anyone.
the problem.
But I
keep getting to that point.
I try to think before I speak and react.
That's
It
one
is
that
so
I'm
hard
working on
sometimes, though.
because I've learned that that's what I've been. I didn't even realize that that's. I
A
thought
thing.
everybody did that, right? Like,
Yeah.
what you feel, because that's the way it's always been in my family. Like, everybody's always saying how they feel, and not in a good way. Like,
Learning the new sense of normalcy
Yeah.
after growing up in
was
a
a
dysfunctional
do
family.
you feel like you lived in flight mode your whole life, and then you start getting comfortable, and that's when it all kind of hits you?
For a large majority of my life throughout my childhood and after I moved out of my mom's home in my youth, I moved in with an abusive ex, and that also like just carried on the cycle. So whenever I met Gordon and came into more of a sense of calmness and security, it took me years, I'm not even kidding, years to decompress and to
The problem is, I don't think it all came at once, and it was like, I guess I realized I was dealing with issues I didn't have because I thought I was good. Oh, I knew what happened was messed up, but it is what it is. We move on. You know, turns out I just pushed that down, and then because I guess you know how your brain will like shut everything down just so you can survive a situation.
yeah.
And I think that's kind of what happened. I was surviving the whole time. And then finally get to a place where I'm all good and it all, oh, okay, well, now we're going to hit you with this. Now you can handle this.
One good
And
quote,
I don't know if I can.
one good quote that I've heard is that the state of survival is something you're supposed to pass through. It's not a place you're supposed to stay and live.
But I think the way we grew up, we just did what kids would do and whatever to survive, to get through.
I grew up in kind of a rough environment growing up in the inner city of Baton Rouge.
Oh, yeah, you did grow up.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
it wasn't the greatest, especially with like school and stuff. I was not very popular.
That was one of the questions I had wrote down.
And
Were
when
you
I
popular?
was popular, it was for the wrong reasons. So
I was never popular. I always had a small group, and I was good with that. Like, 5 to 10 of us. It got bigger when we got in high school because me and my brother's group ended up combining.
I was
And we were just
actually that lone weirdo emo kid because in my 8th grade year, I ended up moving from Baton Rouge to a smaller suburb outside of Baton Rouge in Denham Springs.
Oh, so you ended up going to school in Denham Springs.
I did. I went to school in Denham Springs, and I was that weird emo kid who was silent, and it took my now best friend of over 15 years, it took her literally prying me out of my shell and begging me to talk to her. And then when I finally started talking, I wouldn't shut up. Shout out, Brooklyn. I didn't forget you. She's been salty with me because she was like, you're having all these interviews and I'm watching you and you just, what do you think, I just don't exist just because I'm like way over here? I do have friends. They just like, no one lives by me. I've got like a handful of people and just no one's near me but Donna. So we over here bonding and vibing and making it happen.
We're
trying to.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Gotta do something.
Man, it was a shot in the dark, but it hasn't been a bad experience.
It hasn't, and at least we're learning a lot. Like, you're learning a lot on editing. So, I mean, isn't that fun, though? I mean, I know it's irritating.
Oh, man.
But don't you feel at least some sense of accomplishment once you, like, tackle that hurdle? Especially since I know we've had some difficulties with it. But you're handling it so well, really.
There's a lot that goes into editing. It's my least favorite part of the process.
I think that's everyone's favorite.
It is interesting to watch it all come together. I like playing with the different effects of like something as simple as the transition or how the words flow out onto the page. I really enjoy that aspect of it, and seeing the final results always like the
you're doing
big
a great
shebang
job
for me.
You're for someone who
it's going okay,
isn't
you
known
know,
for doing it. You know what I mean?
Formal training or anything
Exactly.
in editing.
That's why I'm saying you're doing great.
Watching YouTube videos, taking recommendations from
that's
like
how you learn.
Random friends and strangers from Reddit forums, you know?
That's what's great about the internet. We have unlimited sources for learning. It's
so much
good.
knowledge.
So helpful.
It is. I'm over here babysitting it.
I see that.
The microphone's here, not there. I forgot for a second.
It happens. This is the best microphone, to be fair.
Right.
Do you want to go over a few questions? Like, things to get to know each other better? Because we've only been friends about 7 months.
Yeah, I feel like there's some random unique things
Yeah.
that we could probably
I'm already
get into.
learning some stuff today, which is good. Yay.
So,
bonding. Not bondage, but bonding.
what's your favorite baked good?
Probably cookies.
What kind of cookies?
All cookies.
All cookies.
I love cookies. Oh, that's not true, though, because I don't care for Oreos that much. I like the cookie, but not the cream.
So there's this cake, and it's in my mind, and if I even, like, looked at my mom right now, she would know exactly which cake I'm talking. Oh my gosh, it's so yummy, and it's got all the fruits on it, and orange marmalade, and some raspberry jam. What is it?
I don't know.
Come on.
It sounds good.
It's so moist and delicious.
It's not like a Hawaiian cake, huh?
No, it's not a Hawaiian cake. Come on. Well, I just don't know the name of it right now, but it is so good, and it's my favorite baked good. What else do I want to know about Donna?
Did you have a nickname growing up?
I did indeed. I had a few.
What was it? No, you gotta tell me at least one.
At least one.
The most embarrassing one, preferably.
The most embarrassing one. Sally Cat Brokeback.
Oh my goodness, who gave you that? And why?
My best friend Brooklyn, because I gave her the name Boobland, a Care Bear ham bone.
What the?
That's some of that OG throwback right there. Now, let's get deep, drugs? Donna. We were on drugs.
Okay,
but I think that came around pre-drug, actually.
Okay.
We were high on life at that point.
fair enough.
It's like an herbal remedy.
It do be.
Homeopathic shit.
It definitely is the happy
Speaking,
juice.
I don't know why homeopathic shit reminded me, but what you think about the aliens, bro?
Yeah, they're definitely here, right?
Do you think they're like, by here? Do you think that they're like among us?
I don't know. I kind of think they're just watching us.
I think they're just watching us too, like...
Maybe they're just trying to make sure we don't blow shit up. Because you know they said that the sightings for, like, UFOs, when they started seeing them once they dropped the nuclear bombs in World War II. That's when they started having all these sightings. So, I don't know. Maybe they just try to make sure we don't blow shit up again.
Dude.
Like, hey, these fucking rednecks are crazy down here. we gotta get some control.
Like, that's a big firework.
Right. That can be good.
I feel like they've probably been around since the dawn of time.
I mean, alien just means unknown, foreign, you know. So who knows? I don't think it's what you see in movies.
I don't picture your traditional alien, a little green or gray man. I just don't see that.
Me neither.
In my mind, they'd be like a morph of like a fish meets a person. I don't know why. That's just like how my brain rationalizes it.
What part is the fish? Like, what exactly
like,
do they look
clearly
like?
they'd have people legs and like probably like a people body.
Like a fish head?
No.
And gills?
No, not even gills. They'd probably have like some sort of weird like apparatus going on to breathe through.
What?
I don't know. That's just like, what funny. Do you think that an alien would look like?
I really don't know. I don't even know if they like have a form like this. You know, what if it's just like on cellular level,
moving?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Or maybe they're just. Sometimes I picture them as like white squiggly things.
Okay, white squiggles.
I don't know. Like pod squiggles. Like, I don't know.
A radio voice, right? Like the robots.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think they have a voice. I don't think they talk.
Would click or something.
Probably. They have I think they communicate telepathically.
Right. You've been watching too much Signs. I see where you're going with
what
this.
I've been watching?
Signs.
What's that? I'm serious.
Come on, starring Joaquin Phoenix and someone else relevant.
Girl, I don't watch movies.
This is a classic.
I know Emperor's New Groove.
Emperor.
David Spade is the best.
Y'all see who I deal with? But that being said, David Spade is the best, bro. I celebrate David Spade every single year whenever I pop fireworks because my favorites are snakes and sparklers, baby.
I'm trying not to cough.
Hold it together.
I'm good. I think.
Are you good?
Yeah, I thought you were indicating something was on my face. I think my teeth's kicking in a little bit.
Where are we at?
Maybe we should go.
We can't end this on a note of talking about freaking aliens.
Okay.
Like Fishman versus
Squiggly
Squiggles.
That's funny. Okay, so I don't know. Alright, so we were talking about aliens. How do we transition out of aliens?
You know, I know how to transition out of aliens, Donna. Donna, you found us out.
Ah,
come on, you don't talk enough.
I don't know what you were gonna say. I was talking plenty.
Tell me, round us out.
How am I rounding us out?
Round us out.
What were you gonna say?
Just smooth it out with your hands.
I'm gonna beat you up. I'm thinking. My brain is trying to work.
One of the avenues that we had actually considered exploring for Wives Getting Lives was implementing a murder mystery or conspiracy day for us to be able to discuss strange, weird, supernatural phenomenons,
Yeah.
like
Something
whatever
for fun.
comes up. Something with a little razzle-dazzle and spooky vibe to it. Well, that's really all for today. We just wanted to touch base with you all and sit down and have a chit-chat and just be real and raw for a minute and let you guys know where our head's at and what to expect for the future of Wives Getting Lives.
For the few people that are watching.
We really told y'all what to expect for the future because
I don't think we still don't know.
don't really know, but
We're gonna try some
we're
stuff.
definitely going to keep at it and try some new things. And we hope you guys stick around and like it. So tune in next week. We're going to have an interview with Paige from Plushies by Paige on Facebook. We're really looking forward to it, and we hope you guys are too. See you next time.